Good afternoon and welcome to Math Talk News. I'm Mackenzie Washington. Today, we will be discussing the recent developments in secondary mathematics education throughout the United States. What is expected of our students today, and how are we preparing them for careers after high school and beyond? Joining us tonight is an 8th grade teacher from Rosewood Middle School, Miss Tanya Brown. Miss Brown, how do you teach mathematics in your classroom?
Well, Miss Washington, there are two remarkably differing tendencies in educational methods today. I believe that instruction and implementing real-life scenarios are the two most important methods associated with mathematics. It is vital to present instruction in a practical way so that students are understanding the topic at hand without difficulty. It is also necessary to relate such topics to real-world scenarios in order for students to gain an understanding of how newly gained information can be taken into their daily lives.
Why do you think that real-world scenarios and presentation are important for our students in 1910?
Well, seeing as almost none of the knowledge obtained at school is actually used on a daily basis, it is our job as educators to set up the basis of mathematics education so that such basics can be taken into the workplace and expanded upon depending on the student's career path. For example, artisans, mechanics, and clerks will not use math in the same way as one another, so the basics are what's important.
What applications do you think mathematics have in our society today?
The true purpose of math is to develop the mind of a learner through practice, not to understand every little theory in the subject of mathematics. You see, the members of our own family, neighbors, and people we meet on the street are willing to give us information that we ask, which contributes to the proof that mathematics has little application in the life of an average person.
So, Miss Brown, for example, someone wishes to use geometry. How would they do so in the real world?
For example, geometry can be used when measuring the height of a tree if the sun is shining brightly, but it is not practical. It is not practical because how are you going to measure a tree without a ladder or a long pole? Games such as baseball and pool are based off of geometrical principles as well, but no one would suggest that geometry be studied for such purposes in life.
As a student, I always hated being forced to study subjects I did not care about. I found it a waste of time when I could have been helping Mama with the daily chores on the farm. What effect do you think studying all subjects in school has on students?
Forcing a student to study each and every subject every year of the schooling is not beneficial. The only way that a student is going to make use of such a large amount of useless knowledge is the student thoroughly enjoys the subject and is able to relate it to their everyday lives. Putting limits on education may actually be detrimental to one's development of the mind. It is believed that students will excel in the career that they are most fit for. However, in schools today, we have an education that helps them find their strengths and weaknesses, which will lead them to their given career. With the qualifications set by our educational system, the youth will be better equipped for any work and be more successful in the true sense of the word than if he has learned how to make a candlestick and is going to become a bank clerk.
If every student learns differently, what is the approach to measure competency?
Each 8th grader participates in an 8th grade exit exam. The exam is standardized, but it is based off of general ideas and real-world application. This way, students can prove to us that their minds have developed in ways that has prepared them for further education and further career determination. We as educators are able to analyze the ways each student learns and applies their newly learned subjects.
How does a student decide what career to pursue in 1910?
Students today are rarely given the opportunity to pick their career paths. Parents are often inclined to leave their careers in their children's hands. For example, a doctor expects his or her child to become a doctor. It is ridiculous in today's world to allow a young man with no knowledge of the world to have a say in what he wants to do. We strive as educators to offer support and an education of moral competency.
Thank you, Tanya Brown. In conclusion, mathematics is essential to education in middle schools, but should be eliminated in secondary education until later years, if and only if careers require deeper mathematical intelligence. That is all for us tonight, folks. Thank you for tuning in to Math Talk News. I'm Mackenzie Washington, and remember, A squared plus B squared will always equal C squared. Good night.